You know, there's a revolution happening right now. It's not loud, it's not in the streets. It's happening quietly, in our factories, our boardrooms, and even our trash cans. So today, we're going to dig into this quiet revolution, the circular economy, and we're going to zero in on one very specific year, 2026. Why? Because that's the year sustainability is set to officially flip from being a cost into a massive profit engine.
All right, so to really get this, we've got to start with an old idea, a belief that's been driving business for, well, over a century. Let's call it the old assumption.
I'm sure you've heard this before, right? It's been the mantra in so many meetings. This idea that, yeah, being green is nice and all, but at the end of the day, it's expensive. It just hurts the bottom line. It's always been seen as a trade-off. You can be profitable or you can be sustainable, but you can't really be both.
But what if that whole premise, that entire economic model we've pretty much built our modern world on, is just wrong? What if all that waste we produce isn't a necessary evil, but actually just a massive failure of design?
And that question leads us right to the heart of this quiet revolution. It's a totally new way of thinking about our economy. It doesn't operate in a straight line, but in a continuous and really smart loop.
And what's really wild is the ambition here. The goal isn't just to recycle a bit more. Nope, it's to redesign our entire system so that the very idea of waste becomes, well, obsolete. It's a system where every single thing that comes out can become an input for something new.
And when you put these two models side by side, the difference is just, wow. For the last century and a half, we've been running on the linear economy. We take resources from the earth, we make something, and then we create waste. It's a one-way street straight to the landfill. The circular model just completely flips that script. It starts with redesign, then it moves to reuse, and it's always aiming for regenerate. It's a system that actually builds value instead of just destroying it.
So how does this actually work? Well, it's all built on these core loops of value. Think of it like a ladder of options, from best to worst. The most valuable, the tightest loop, is just keeping a product going, maintaining and repairing it. If you can't do that, you move to the next loop. You reuse it. After that, you refurbish or remanufacture it. And only as the very last resort do you actually recycle the raw materials. Each one of these loops saves value that the old linear model literally just throws in the garbage. And here is the absolute key takeaway. This isn't just some feel-good environmental strategy. It is a brand new, incredibly powerful engine for creating economic value. So where does the money come from? Well, first off, waste stops being a cost and actually becomes a valuable input. Second, when products last longer, you open up all these new ways to make money from service and maintenance contracts. Third, by reusing materials you already have, companies can shield themselves from crazy swings in raw material prices. And maybe the biggest one of all, it unlocks entirely new ways of doing business. And one of the most exciting of these is resource as a service. Think about it like this. Why would a company sell you a washing machine when they could just sell you the service of having clean clothes? In this model, the company keeps ownership of the product, and that gives them every reason in the world to make it super durable, easy to repair, and incredibly efficient, because they're on the hook for it for its entire life. And listen, this is not some niche fantasy. The numbers totally back it up. The market for these as-a-service models is absolutely set to explode. It's projected to more than double between 2022 and 2026 alone. What we're seeing here is a fundamental shift in how we think about stuff. We're moving from ownership to access, and the data is showing that it's an incredibly profitable shift. Which brings us, finally, to that critical question we started with. Why 2026? What is so special about that specific year? Why is it the catalyst, the big tipping point for this whole revolution? 2026. Now, this date isn't arbitrary. It's not just some random year we pulled out of a hat. It represents a moment where several powerful, separate forces are all scheduled to converge at the same time and slam the circular economy right into the mainstream. So what are these forces? First, you've got this huge wave of new global regulations kicking in, things like the EU's right to repair rules. Second, the tech is finally there. AI-powered logistics are making the super complex business of reverse supply chains, getting products back from all of us, actually efficient and profitable for the first time. Third, we, the consumers, are demanding it. The demand for sustainable, long-lasting products is hitting critical mass. And finally, the actual technologies for remanufacturing and advanced recycling are now big enough to compete with, and sometimes even beat, the cost of using brand new materials.
So look, this isn't some theoretical thing anymore. This is the new economic reality taking shape all around us. So let's break down what this big shift actually means for you.
The simple answer is pretty much everyone. For businesses, the whole game is changing. Efficiency and durability are the new keys to winning. For investors, a massive new category of growth companies is opening up. For us as consumers, our entire relationship with the stuff we buy is about to change. And of course, for the planet, this offers a real viable path forward.
So what's your takeaway here? It's all about engagement. If you're an investor, start looking for companies that have circularity built into their DNA, not just tacked on to their marketing. If you're a consumer, use your money to vote. Demand products that are built to last and can actually be repaired. And if you're a professional, doesn't matter what industry you're in, start asking the question, where's the waste in our system and how can we turn that waste into value?
Because this shift, it's not a question of if anymore. It's just a question of when. The old take, make, waste model that basically defined the 20th century, it's coming to an end. So the only real question left is, where will you be when it does?